Today, we are diving into two wildly different ways of looking at the world, two frameworks for how we steer the systems that shape our lives. We're talking everything from the algorithms on your phone to the actual soil under our feet. One is brand new tech, the other is a farming philosophy that's a century old. But what they have in common, well, it might just change how you see everything.
You know that feeling, right? It's kind of spooky. You get the sense that your feed isn't just suggesting things, it's shaping what you like. And you're not wrong. Turns out, that's not a coincidence at all. It's a really powerful feedback loop, and it gets to the very heart of a huge question about our modern lives. So, who is in control here? Really? We are in this constant dance with the technology we've created. It learns from us, we learn from it, but who's leading? To really get a handle on this, we've got to break down the steps of this dance.
Okay, so it all starts with this simple feedback loop. Check it out. Step 1, you do something. You post a photo, maybe leave a comment. Step 2, the system reacts. The algorithm sees that post, sees the engagement, and it starts feeding you more stuff just like it. Then comes step 3. Your behavior starts to change. You notice what gets the likes, what gets the shares, and you start posting more of what the system seems to want. And finally, step 4. The loop just gets tighter and tighter. The system gets better at reading you, and you get better at playing the system. It's this cycle of coevolution happening in real time.
Now, there's actually a formal name for studying this exact thing. It's a really powerful way of looking at the world called anthrocybernetics. And trust me, it helps us see this whole relationship in a totally new light.
To get it, first you've got to know what cybernetics even is. The short version is, it's the science of control and communication in any system. Could be a machine, could be a living thing. You know, a thermostat is the classic example. Well, anthrocybernetics takes that big idea and points it right at us. It suggests something pretty radical, that we should see humans, you and me, as cybernetic systems, constantly adjusting and being adjusted by all the tech feedback we're getting.
And the name itself, it tells you everything. It comes from two Greek words, anthropos, which means human, and Kubernetes, which means steersman, like the pilot of a ship. So it's all about how we steer ourselves through this complex world, and, just as important, how the systems we've built are steering us right back.
And this right here shows you the huge difference. Standard cybernetics would look at that thermostat and ask, how does the machine work? Anthrocybernetics, though, it brings the human right back into the picture. It asks, hey, why did you pick 72 degrees? How does that warmth actually make you feel? See? It puts the anthropos, the human, back in the driver's seat of the whole system.
All right, now we're going to take what might feel like a sharp left turn, but I promise it'll make sense. Almost exactly a century before we were all talking about algorithms, a philosopher named Rudolf Steiner was asking a surprisingly similar question, but about a totally different kind of system, a farm. Steiner had this amazing analogy. He said you can't understand why a compass needle points north by just looking at the needle. You have to understand its relationship to the entire planet. And in the same way, you can't understand a single plant, or even a whole farm, in isolation. You have to look at the whole system it's plugged into. It's a massive call for holistic thinking.
And this is the incredible parallel. Anthrocybernetics says you can't possibly understand a social media user without understanding the whole tech ecosystem they're in. And 100 years ago, Steiner's biodynamics was saying you can't understand a plant without seeing its relationship to the soil, the moon, the planets, the entire cosmos. They are both demanding the exact same thing, a bigger perspective.
This approach he developed is called biodynamic farming. And at its very heart is this idea that a farm isn't just a collection of plants and animals. No, it's a single living organism, a self-contained individuality that's not just sitting on the earth, but is in a constant conversation with the rhythms and forces of the whole cosmos.
So if both of these systems see a giant feedback loop, how do they suggest we actually steer it? With anthrocybernetics, the answer is pretty clear. We consciously design better algorithms. With biodynamics, the methods are, well, they're a little more elemental.
Yeah, instead of writing code, biodynamics uses these things Steiner called preparations. Think of them as special recipes, specific substances and processes, you might even call them alchemical, that are designed to channel these cosmic and earthly forces, and focus them right into the soil and plants to make the whole farm more vibrant and alive.
So one of the most famous ones is called Preparation 500. Here's what you do. You take high-quality cow manure, you stuff it into a cow horn, and you bury it in the ground all winter. The theory is that the horn acts like a kind of antenna, gathering these life-giving forces from the winter earth and concentrating them into the manure.
Then in the spring, you dig it up, mix it with water, and spray it on the fields to boost vitality. It's a very physical way of trying to steer the farm's energetic system.
And the methods for steering can get even more specific. For example, to get rid of a particular weed, Steiner laid out this fascinating process. Step 1. You collect the seeds from that exact weed. Step 2. You burn them to a fine ash. Step 3. You scatter that ash over your fields. The idea here is that the act of burning creates an opposite force to the weed's own reproductive energy, which he connected to the forces of the moon, and that this will discourage it from growing there again. It's a totally different kind of systems hat.
Okay, let's just lay it all out side by side so it clicks. For Anthro-Cybernetics, the system is you and the algorithm. The feedback is likes, shares, recommendations, and we steer it by consciously designing our AI. For biodynamics, the system is the whole farm. The feedback comes from cosmic rhythms, like the moon and planets, and you steer it using these preparations. You see? At the end of the day, what both of these frameworks are really about is making invisible feedback loops visible so that we can consciously choose how to steer them.
And that brings us to the really profound takeaway from all of this, because whether we are consciously steering these massive systems or not, they are definitely steering us. They are shaping our future, and it's happening either by our own deliberate design or just by our default.
This is the huge shift in thinking that Anthro-Cybernetics is asking us to make. For the longest time, the big question has been, what are we going to do with our machines? But the much deeper and frankly more urgent question is this: what kinds of humans are our machines helping us become? Because this isn't just about cool new tech anymore, it's about our own evolution.
100 years ago, Rudolf Steiner gave a strikingly similar warning, but about our relationship with the natural world. He basically said we have no choice. Either we learn to work with these deeper forces of the universe again, or we're going to watch not only nature, but our own human lives just wither and decay. The stakes from either perspective really couldn't be any higher.
So, when you get right down to it, whether we're coding an algorithm or burying a cow horn in a field, we're doing the exact same thing. We are designing the feedback loops that will in turn design us. We are actively writing the future of what it even means to be human. So the real question this leaves us with is, what kind of future are we consciously choosing to create?